They took away her rifle, then she dropped 5 men in 52 seconds. The sun baked the sand at Camp Halcyon into a sheet of gold. But tension ran cold, a whistle pierced the air. 5 men stepped forward, broad shoulders, hardened jaws, trained bodies. All of them had something to prove. And in the center of them stood her. Her name was Alina. No rifle, no gear, just her, calm, composed, wearing nothing but that fitted olive shirt that clung to muscle and defiance, eyes sharp, breathing steady, alone. You think this is training? One of them muttered, smirking. Another cracked his knuckles. She's a joke without her rifle. She didn't flinch because she already knew how this would end and exactly how long it would take, 52 seconds. But what brought her to this moment? And why was the entire camp frozen watching like it was more than a sparring match? Because it was. Alina wasn't supposed to be here. Not in this desert, not in this uniform, not after what happened 6 months ago in Kandahar. She had been the best in her unit, sharpshooter, tactician, team leader, until the ambush, until she made a decision that saved lives but cost her command. There were whispers, too aggressive, too confident, too emotional. And then came the punishment, desk duty, demotion, silence. They didn't court-martial her. They did something worse. They tried to forget her. But Alina didn't crumble. She trained harder. She waited, and when a spot opened at Camp Halcyon, one of the toughest advanced training camps in the region, she applied. No recommendation, no support, just grit. She passed every written test, every physical requirement. But something always burned beneath the surface. The quiet resentment of the men who had never believed she belonged. And today, they decided to teach her a lesson. It was supposed to be a routine sparring demo, a little hand-to-hand before sundown. But when the instructors whispered, "Strip her gear," the tone shifted. No protection, no weapon, just her and 5 of them. "Let's see what she can really do," one barked, circling her like a wolf. The others laughed until she moved. The first man lunged. She ducked, spun, elbow, collarbone crack. He dropped like a stone. The second hesitated, then came swinging. She sidestepped, grabbed his wrist midair, and used his momentum, shoulder into the dirt, arm twisted until he screamed. Disarmed, immobilized, 12 seconds, 3 remained. They came together, brute, force, and fury. But Alina had already calculated their moves. Her father was a boxer, her mother a jiu-jitsu instructor. She grew up fighting before she ever held a rifle. One kick to the knee, a chop to the throat, a palm strike to the nose. Blood sprayed. The last man circled, unsure now. The crowd around them silent. Alina didn't move. He rushed, a final burst of pride. She caught him mid-charge, twisted, pivoted, and drove him backward onto the sand, flat on his back, her knee on his chest. She leaned close. 52 seconds, she whispered. Silence, then clapping, not from the crowd, from the edge of the field. A tall figure emerged, silver oak leaf on his collar. Lieutenant Colonel Reyes. He didn't say a word, just nodded, once, and everyone knew. For the first time since Kandahar, she was seen not just as a woman, not just as a soldier, but as a warrior. That night, Alina sat alone near the barracks, the desert wind brushing past her hair like a whisper. Her body ached, but it was the kind of ache that told her she was alive, finally fully alive. They had taken her rifle, but they couldn't take her fire. She didn't want medals. She didn't want applause. She wanted respect. And in 52 seconds, she earned it. Not because she beat 5 men, but because she refused to break when everything else was designed to break her. She was no longer waiting for permission. She was the storm they never saw coming. If this story touched you, hit that like button and drop a karma in the comments below.